Ali taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. China's cyber war to influence the protests in Hong Kong exposed as Twitter and Facebook shut down Communist Party-linked accounts. Will the world sign a treaty to create a huge ocean sanctuary in Antarctica? A Venezuelan man walks through South America with one leg. And the viral TikTok, which has had some people purring. And at the top of our newsfeed, China and social media. Two of the big American-based sites, Twitter and Facebook, have closed accounts down which they say are linked to the Chinese government and were acting to undermine protests in Hong Kong. Here's Sam in Beijing.
Well, there's no doubt that social media has played a massive role in the Hong Kong protests, but now it's very much become the focus. That after Twitter and Facebook took down a number of accounts thought to be linked to Chinese efforts to undermine the anti-government demonstrations. Now, Twitter says it suspended more than 900 accounts which appeared to be related to a coordinated state-backed operation. It says they were deliberately and specifically attempting to spread political discord in Hong Kong. Now, following this tip-off by Twitter, Facebook said it had removed several pages. These included posts describing the protesters as cockroaches and comparing them to ISIS militants. Facebook said its investigation found links to individuals associated with the Chinese government. Of course, both platforms are blocked here in China, but it's believed some of these accounts were accessed via VPNs. Now, the news hasn't come as a big surprise. Social media companies have been under pressure to stem these sorts of political disinformation campaigns, especially in the lead up to next year's US election after claims of Russian meddling in the last one. Now, Twitter and Facebook have come under fire lately over showing ads from state media that criticized the Hong Kong protesters, and in response, Twitter says it'll no longer accept advertising from state-controlled news outlets. Interestingly, though, it's the first time that companies have pointed to China over such actions.
All right, let's take a look at some of the other things that caught our eye on social media. Now, the man who held Eric Garner in a chokehold in 2014, leading to his death, has been fired by the New York Police Department. His name is Daniel Pantaleo, and the viral video of the incident added further fire to a fire that was burning in America at the time and is burning today. A disproportionate number of black people killed by police officers. Pantaleo lost his job and his pension with the police department, but remains as a district attorney for Staten Island. He plans to appeal the ruling about his police job. Eric Garner's mother says they will continue to fight for justice.
But you know what, Pantaleo, your regime, London, y'all can appeal all you want. But I'm still out here. I'm out here for the long run. You come out here against me, I'm out here. And you cannot scare me away. Yeah, Pantaleo, you may have lost your job, but I lost a son. July 17, 2014. I lost my son. You cannot replace that. You can get another job, maybe at Burger King, okay?
A woman called Evelyn Hernandez has been cleared of murder in El Salvador in a case which highlighted just how strict that country's abortion laws are. Ms. Hernandez's baby died as she says she was not aware she was pregnant when she gave birth to him. She says she was initially charged with murder as police said she'd aborted the child. Her case was watched closely by women's rights groups around the world, many of whom called for her to be acquitted.
Thank God justice was done. I also thank you who have been here. And I also thank all international countries. I thank my mother for always being with me in everything. I know it's been tough all this time, being in the courtroom and seeing how I was being accused of something I was innocent of. And I also ask There are many women who are still locked up, and I call for them to be freed soon too.
And Donald Trump has done a tweet with a photoshopped image of a golden Trump Tower on the Greenland coast, saying he would not do this. This has become Trump has been considering trying to buy the island. The Danish government, who own Greenland, say the island's not for sale. Trump's interest is the third time that the United States have looked into buying the largest island on the planet. And video of some men dancing into a wedding has gone viral. It's from India and has been viewed nearly 6 million times. According to the caption, this is how Sikh men dance. Now, the planet's oceans are back in the focus right now as people prepare to gather in New York for a climate summit that will be held next month. Ahead of that potentially momentous meeting, the United Nations are discussing the wording of a treaty which would protect oceans by creating huge areas which humans can't exploit.
It is amazing. There's an iceberg there that has the most beautiful shape I've ever seen. It's like a cave of ice.
The scientific community is beginning to understand now the role that healthy oceans play in the absorption of carbon and how they help keep climate change in check. Sanctuaries don't only protect biodiversity, they also assure food security for billions of people who depend on the seas. A healthy ocean is one of the greatest defenses against climate change.
Okay, to Malaysia now, where a preacher has had to apologise after saying certain ethnic groups should be sent back to their country of origin. Take a look at this.
Malaysia became fully Muslim. Then you had the Chinese coming, you had the Indian coming, the Britishers coming. They are our new guest. You know, somebody called me a guest. So I said, before me, the Chinese are the guest. They aren't born here. So if you want the new guest to go first, ask the old guest to go back.
Indian Muslim preacher Zakir Naik is sparking controversy in Malaysia. Naik has millions of followers on social media and is the founder of Peace TV, which has an estimated 200 million viewers worldwide. He is currently a permanent resident of Malaysia. India revoked his passport in 2017 over charges of money laundering and hate speech. Now, Malaysian politicians are also calling for him to be deported. 7 out of Malaysia's 13 states have banned him from speaking in public. Race and religion are sensitive topics in Malaysia, which is a multi-ethnic and multi-religious country. Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad had this to say.
To be permanent resident, you cannot participate in politics. He was talking about sending the Chinese back to China and Indians back to India. That's political. We are very careful about how we say things that are sensitive to the different communities in this country. It is quite clear that he wants to participate in racial politics in Malaysia. Now he's stirring up racial feeling, and that is bad.
Zakir Naik is now being investigated by the Malaysian police for breaching public peace.
And we keep spinning around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Tuesday. More than 500 million bees have died in Brazil in recent months because of the use of pesticides in agribusiness. Many of the pesticides in Brazil would not be cleared for use in the European Union or the USA. The bees were found to contain a banned chemical called fipronil, among others. The Brazilian government are currently in the process of relaxing regulations on the use of such chemicals, some of which may cause cancer in humans. Now, the loss of the bees is extremely damaging to our food security, as bees pollinate 75% of the world's crops. Now, a Canadian politician does not believe in man-caused climate change, and that has led the elections watchdog there to warn people campaigning in elections that if they say climate change is real, they could be breaking election law. The politician is called Maxime Bernier, and he says that the climate has always changed and will continue to do so. Due to strict laws on partisan campaigning during election periods in Canada, anyone disputing Mr. Bernier's position during the election could be found to have broken the rules. And this is a new ride at a theme park in Germany, or rather it was. You see, the ride has been shut down as some people complained that the spinning arms looked like swastikas. The ride was called the Eagle Fly, and there is no news whether it will be allowed to operate again. Now for a story of hope and perseverance out of Venezuela, where one man with one leg has gone on a journey he hopes will inspire a nation.
Yesley Aranda may have reached the end of the world, but he insists he's on top of it. The Venezuelan left his hometown of San Cristobal with a backpack and $30 in his pocket. He has walked to the southern tip of South America, all to inspire his compatriots to pursue their dreams despite difficult times. And he should know, Aranda, a former bus driver, lost his leg when a truck traveling in the opposite direction lost control and crashed into his vehicle in 2013.
My daughter was with me when I had that traffic accident. She lost her entire right leg. I lost my left leg above my knee, but she lost all her right leg and her left leg was damaged. She is wheelchair bound, and I dedicated myself to giving her motivation, and along this journey, many people have found inspiration.
Aranda faced another hurdle he defied: Venezuela's hyperinflation. His savings were decimated. But a prosthetics company gave him a new aluminium leg, and a shoemaker donated sneakers decorated with the colors of Venezuela's flag. And the traveler says it's largely down to the kindness of strangers who provided him with lodging and food along the way that he was able to complete the 15,000-kilometer journey.
I've been on the road for a year, a month and 19 days. Today is the 17th of August of 2019, and I'm happy to have traveled more than 15,000 kilometers, crossing Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, and today Argentina.
He also hitched rides from friendly truck drivers who assisted him with some of the most difficult stretches, like mountain passes that climbed up to nearly 5,000 meters above sea level. On his trip, Aranda was able to enjoy sunsets over the Pacific Ocean, visit Inca ruins, pet a penguin, and touch snow for the first time. And the intrepid explorer says his arrival at the end of the world is only the beginning of his trip back home.
And last up, it's kind of an animal's doing stuff, but what this animal is doing is being part of one of the most viral clips out there right now. Well, this was made on TikTok, where else by a high school kid called Jade Taylor Ryan and her cat Ed. It's using the song Mr. Sandman by the Chordettes, which was released in 1954 and has been used in so many films it's impossible to remember them all. And now it's found another generation of fans through the app. And that will do from the Newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints and suggestions. You'll find me at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel and follow me on Twitter. Follow, subscribe, add. See you again tomorrow.